Nostalgic, brutal, and authentic sequel. 2020 has been a real stinker of a year, so I've very much been looking forward to Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. Billed as the true sequel to 1998's Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, developer Toys for Bob and publisher Activision promised us a nostalgia-filled adventure that looks back to take the Bandicoot forward. I'm delighted to report that Crash 4 absolutely delivers on that promise. This dimension-hopping adventure brings in enough ideas to justify its existence as more than a tribute act, while still feeling like an authentic love letter to days gone by. For the most part, this is a window into the past that celebrates everything the fans loved about the original Crash platformers. Crash 4, a game that could easily have been released in the late 90s along with all the good and quite a bit of the bad that you'd expect from its predecessors. Thanks to a wacky story involving evil scientists, ancient masks, and tears in the skin of reality, Crash, Coco, and an assortment of surprise guest stars are able to travel through a universe of gorgeous, inventive worlds packed with detail. Whether you're exploring a Mad Max-style wasteland or dashing through caves filled with pirate treasure, this hands down is the best Crash Bandicoot has ever looked. Not that you'll spend much time admiring the scenery, what with all the dying that you'll be doing. I was particularly grateful for the option to play without game over screens when I realised just how difficult Crash 4 can be, because good lord, it does not screw around. From the very first level, Toys for Bob makes it painfully clear that it intends to treat you as if you've played and beaten the original games. It comes at you with everything it has from the off and only builds in intensity, slowly introducing new power-ups and systems, more on those later, that begin to make its many platforming gauntlets all the more intricate. While that probably sounds super appealing to the masochists out there, I should stress that Toys for Bob have found a few ways of making sure every player has a chance of getting to the end of the game, even if this is your first time playing Crash. In addition to the aforementioned option to remove game overs, checkpoints and extra lives can start to appear more frequently during sections that are really tripping you up. It's unlikely that you'll ever be down for too long, and I say this as someone who is shockingly bad at the game. As you progress through the game, Toys for Bob slowly builds up the variety of systems and items to keep challenges fresh, and there are some great, if not wholly original, ideas on display. One mask that Crash is able to pick up gives him the ability to phase shift, which is to say that at the press of a button you can make it so that certain platforms blink into existence as others disappear. Another mask lets Crash perpetually spin, giving you the ability to tear through levels like a miniature hurricane. In this state, it's possible to jump higher, smash through crates and enemies, and float through the air. These new ideas effortlessly bed into the very fabric of classic Crash, and it's great to see. But as much as Crash 4's willingness to embrace the past is a strength, there are many times when its stubbornness to let go holds it back from being a truly essential platformer. While it's an undeniably smooth game for the most part, the same frustrations and niggles present in the first 3 games have a habit of appearing. Jumping from platform to platform is a heck of a lot smoother, yes, but there are still times where it's all too easy to misjudge the location of a rope or narrow path and plummet to your death. There are also multiple instances of hazards or traps springing up with little to no warning, leaving you with no time at all to react and evade accordingly. I'm happy to take on as much challenge as I can get my hands on, but running into a spike trap I didn't know was there until I jumped over to it feels cheap, and I'm a lot less willing to forgive that kind of level design now than I was in 1998. And not just because I'm no longer a toddler. Oh, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but levels that force you to run towards the screen away from something are bad. They were a bad idea in the 90s, and they're a worse idea now. If we get a Crash 5, and I hope that we do, there are some things that just should stay in the past. The bottom line is this: those that found Crash to be one of the clunkier and more irritating platforming mascots from the old days probably won't have their minds changed by this latest outing. But if you grew up loving Crash Bandicoot warts and all, you're going to adore Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. I promise you that. Toys for Bob set out to create an authentic sequel, and in that regard, this game is a stunning success that ultimately delivers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to work out who to pester until Activision lets Toys for Bob make a new Spyro game.